Hello everyone, it is me again, GamePeng21, and today we're gonna not really be looking at anything in particular because I tried to do that and the microphone kind of cut off halfway through, making the entirety of that video now fucking useless. And basically I've also been doom scrolling and I want to just talk about some weird shit that I've been looking at on the internet and, you know, give my 2 cents and opinions on it in the same way that someone gives their 2 cents and opinions on anything when they just do a rant video. Plus, I just need something easy to put out for content purposes, so yeah. I'm not going to talk about life because it's really just art things. Being an art student sucks and is hard because everyone's always trying to interpret your art when sometimes your art doesn't have a point and people are like, but it should have a point. I'm not going to get into it. But in any case, let's just talk about a few topics and things that I just happen to have been looking at through the lens of other stuff. There's not going to be any of this particular order to it. We're just going to talk about it. So firstly, we're going to be talking about, we'll talk about the amazing Lucas and how he made actual couple of good videos and one kind of good video. Now, again, this comes from Klutzy King, because I watch him a lot, and I've been watching a lot of his stuff. And I'm not going to go into it. I will probably link his the video in the description. But basically, the video in question, the 3 videos in question are like some of his more recent video game type uploads, where he goes into the effects of He goes into the effect of Spider-Man coming to PC and the Spider-Man PC port and how he actually liked it. And I agree with a lot of the stuff that he says in that video. And yeah, he does agree that, you know, The Last of Us Part 1 remake is, again, a scam and that you shouldn't buy it. Both of those points I agree with. However, upon watching the other video of King's video, I'm not going to go too in-depth as, again, my opinion is based solely on that. And yeah, but from what I've seen of the video, which again isn't too much, but from what I've seen of his content, he still somehow made it about the console wars somehow, which kind of, yeah, I don't know how you can make like a port of a thing being like, oh, well, this is still really good and this is still really bad, but it's just, yeah. To be fair, though, again, I don't remember specifically what I wanted to talk about in that context, but the whole thing with Lucas being a super big Sony fanboy is nothing really new, and I mean, I've covered him a number of times on this whole, like, on this channel, and again, if you haven't seen any of those previous videos, I would recommend that if you want more context on his channel, go and watch some of them. Because most of those videos and opinions still hold true because he just doesn't understand. And that's one of the things that I just wanted to talk about is just dumb people and how they just don't get when they're wrong. And yeah, I know that I know that I am going to sound hypocritical because I know that I get things wrong, and usually when I admit that I get things wrong, people are like, ha, see, you do tend to defend yourself even if you do get things wrong. It's like, that's kind of true. So I'm not going to say that I am 100% at that point to basically say like, oh yeah, I have good takes all the time. There's one of the reasons I have good takes all the time and yada yada. There's one reason why I hate getting political, especially on things such as YouTube and even on Twitter and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of times where, I mean, I have bad takes, but even still I try to remain as neutral as possible whenever I have these sorts of takes, just so that way I can still say that there are things here and that there are reasons as to why I think this way, and I do try to defend myself, yeah, but more often than not, I'm tending to remain neutral, and that's just generally my point here. If I ever do have any of those bad takes, which some people might say, yeah. Which, leading into the next thing, some people might say that I had a bad take on the EAC update. Again, some people, not a lot of people, but the VRC EAC update wasn't the greatest. It honestly, yeah, it broke the game for some people, and it just wasn't good. In terms of what they added versus what they are adding now, people are just burnt out because this is it's basically still like even an abusive relationship. They are trying to win us back, and yet, in all honesty, I don't feel the need to, you know, keep myself up to date on stuff like that. And I never felt it before, but now I feel it somehow even less so, which is, yeah. It's really weird to think like, oh yeah, they're still updating the game and there's still like really cool things that might be coming out. But at the same time, I can't get excited for it because, well, just due to the fact that it just doesn't do anything for me anymore. And for a lot of people, it doesn't do anything either. And yeah, it's one of those things where inevitably it just comes down to personal opinion. And those people who are defending them, the whole like EAC update and a lot of the stuff that they're doing, even after that, saying, oh yeah, look at all this cool stuff, it's to some people just too little too late, myself included. So, and some of the groups of friends that I'm a part of, they basically are just looking to leave and go somewhere else. It's just that we can't go anywhere else, and people are going to call, and I would say that people would call us hypocrites, saying like, oh yeah, you said you would leave, but yet you're still here. Why are you still here? Well, yeah, it's because, you know, there's no other place to really go, and once the other options do happen, uh-oh. Yeah. So, yeah. But to get into more dumb people doing dumb things, it has been about a year now since the infamous Hypnotist Zaffo situation. Now, I don't think that I'm not sure if I made a video on this. I think I might have talked about it at some point. But but I recently rewatched a video that I will actually link in the description if you want more context on this. But the bare minimum context to keep this YouTube friendly here is that there was someone who had gone down a rabbit hole and a spiral into basically unending sadness, and it was all having to do around one particular video, as well as other stuff happening in the background and more information coming out about them being attracted to animals as well as attracted to minors. Both of those seen in the public eye alone are awful, but together in one person who continuously did not stop anything to even think about the situation or to even, you know, try to didn't even try to hide some of the stuff that they're doing or whatnot. It's a can of worms and a rabbit hole that basically I could never cover in this just ranty style video. It's just something that I could never do. So if someone else does it, again, linked in the description if you really want to look into that whole thing. However, my take on this 1 year later, after hearing all the situations, is basically the most recent situation is that she is now gone silent on all social media after posting pictures of her attempting to do the final countdown, I guess is the best way to put it. And her last posts were, well, of her being just there and out of the whole situation. And apparently now that she either is just taking her thing and running, or at the same time has now gotten nothing. Again, that's the last thing that I heard and the last notion of anything that we have seen of them, again, according to this video by Lanza. And yeah, again, I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, but I will at the very least say that it was not a good look for her at any step of this. She tried to get ahead and tried to paint herself kind of like a tragic figure. And I guess the better people who might know what I'm thinking about, the better way to kind of talk about this is to, I guess, talk about the whole Onision thing, and that's the name that probably a lot of you haven't heard in fucking ages. And yeah, to make a long story short, Onision was basically playing 5D chess and would almost always try to paint himself in the best way possible. And it just like, it was just so much weirdness. It just, wow. In any case, yeah, so he basically just kind of fell off after a certain point because people just got too not invested in it. And again, I haven't checked up on him in fucking years. But if anyone remembers that situation, this situation somehow tops that in some cases, involving so many different characters, so many different people. To list off a couple of them, most of them are like under specific ages. Her main video still doing the rounds in some context. It is nuts in a lot of cases. It's just absolutely fucking nuts. And if I'm being clear and concise about this, it's just so I didn't realize how deep it went because I immediately fell off of it and tried to distance myself from it. And I guess the one big reason why I even found the video in the first place and watched it was for the fact that I remember hearing about that. And to think that it's been about a year since that has happened kind of puts things into perspective as to how weird and just odd the internet can sometimes be when covering things. To think that I've been doing something like this for a year or even two is a little bit crazy. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to get this video as far as I could talking about random shit. And I probably won't get a lot of views on this, considering that this isn't going to be one of the main reaction channels. It's just there's nothing really to do. And I just needed to make a video to kind of get things off of my chest. Because this is kind of my therapy. It's free, and it helps me get through stuff and gives me ideas for other things. But yeah, school's just been rough, and I needed a little bit of thing to just rant into a microphone for a while. So yeah, with school and news and things slowing down, I just want to make a fucking video and just put the minimum amount of effort into it and put it out onto YouTube, just to make sure that I have content for the week. But yeah, hopefully I'll get more content out to you guys with the schedule and with all this other stuff. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. My name is GamePenguin21. And this video is just fucking awful. Peace off.